know.
Alright, start recording. Hey, when you know, I gotta start recording. Alright, cool.
Who's going first?
I'll start. I'm Victor Navarro from Team Frogs. I'm Aaron from Frogs.
Melinda from Team Frogs.
And Tom from Frogs.
Sorry for that noise. Should I introduce myself? Alright, so should we start or the other team introduce themselves?
Okay, well, I'm Melissa, and I'm from the group Elephants, and we're for soulful.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm Mario, and I'm in Team Elephants. Pro cell phone use. Do you guys want to start, or should we start? Yeah, I'll start. Okay, so Frogs is against cell phone use. So our team is against cell phone use in the classroom because, number one, not all students own a cell phone or have proficiency using smartphones. Number two, teachers will spend too much time monitoring the uses and conditions of cell phones. And number three, technology fails and can offset the entire lesson plan. It's our opening statement. Nice opening statement. Thank you. Do you want to do an opening statement, Melissa, or should I?
Sure, I'll do it. So we said we're for cell phones because it'll alert in case if there's an emergency in school, so like an intruder or a storm or fire. Another reason might be that students, in case they have like a family emergency, they will be contacted by their parents or family members, and especially like for after school, like who's gonna pick them up. So that's a great idea. That's why they should have their phones.
Nice. Tom, do you want to start with point number one?
Yeah, can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So our first point is students should not be allowed to have cell phones in schools because not all students have cell phones. This could be from a student's grade level, family economic status, or family personal beliefs. Since not all students may have cell phones, it would be ineffective to implement them in the classroom. Also, even if the students have cell phones, they may not have access to smartphones. There are very limited capabilities of non-smartphones, especially in the classroom. And if a student does not have a phone, it makes them susceptible to negative impacts such as bullying. Students may target or make fun of students who do not have phones or have lower quality phones. And as an educator, it'll be our job to create a safe classroom environment. Adding cell phones to the classroom may inadvertently create a hostile environment for those students. And that's the end of our first argument.
I'll rebuttal. So according to the research that I did, according to the Center for Science Education at Sheffield Hallam University, they did a research study that found out that students under the age of 16, 9 out of 10 of those students have a phone, and out of those 9, about 45% of them have a mobile or a smartphone. So I think that's a pretty large amount. And adding on to the fact that some students won't be able to have smartphones, schools can also afford smartphone to provide to the students, which would actually be cheaper than having a large amount of of laptops. Instead of spending money on laptops, they would just buy like 5 or 4 smartphones that could be shared in the classroom that can also be used from other students. Like other students can use their smartphones. So yeah.
Alright, well, I will argue our point number 2, which is teachers will spend too much time monitoring the use and the conditions of the phones. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I don't know if you guys can see my screen, but to begin with, hold the phone. Sorry, guys. So to begin with, alright, with cell phones, you can do multiple things with a swipe of a finger. So how is one teacher or a teacher and an aide going to make sure that every single student is doing what they're supposed to do when there's multiple things you could do on a cell phone? So if I'm a teacher, how can I guarantee that every student is on task when there's so many things you can do and you can switch back and forth in a millisecond? So how would I know that each student is doing what they're supposed to do? So for that, we don't want the cell phones. Also, the conditions. So each of these cell phones, like today's youth, we all have our new iPhones and our new Galaxies. And I don't know if you guys can see my screen, but here are the prices of some of the phones. So the iPhone RX is $600. The iPhone 11 is $1,000. So assuming that about half of our students are using these cell phones, every time we tell our students to pull out their cell phone, we're risking their cell phone getting damaged, their cell phone getting stolen. Who's going to be responsible for that? So that is going to come back on us as a teacher. So yeah, it may save money with tablets, but in the long run, it may be more expensive because if a cell phone gets stolen, we have to pay for that, or we're in trouble because we weren't monitoring enough. So that's my argument on that.
Anybody like to give a rebuttal?
Oh, this is way too good. Way too good.
No, it's very much.
I just want to some points. Yes.
Heavy or should we just? I know you. I can see me because my camera is moving. You're for some reason. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I don't know, for some reason camera is failing, so you can't see me. But are we gonna start a new point up?
Go for it.
Sure.
Point 3 from our group, I guess, right? Yeah, point 3. So what happens when technology fails and you can no longer continue a lesson because your lesson is offset because either the Wi-Fi is down or the phones are connected to the Wi-Fi and the very cell phones are all connected to one hotspot or one Wi-Fi network. It's a lot for a school, and to have multiple Wi-Fi networks is going to cost a lot more money than just continue to have a laptop or computer department.
Well, isn't that why you have a backup plan whenever you have technology incorporated into the instructions?
But our argument is not for a backup plan. It's for the use of cell phones.
No. But what if it fails?
In the case that it fails, it'll take up a lot of time, don't you think? Just trying to get to our backup plan.
No, that's why you have it prepared in advance when you are like preparing your original lesson that requires technology.
Well, I feel like with any lesson plan, something can go wrong. The printer might be broken down, and you can't print out the worksheets. I think just with any lesson plan, like now you're just kind of adding on another thing that can cause issues, pretty much. Just one more.
Yeah, I can't hear you. What?
Who are you talking to?
Mario, I can't hear you that well.
I don't know.
What's up?
Oh, there you go. I can hear a lot better.
That's a very good point. That's all I wanted to say. We'll just go on to a different point, I guess. I think cell phone use could actually be really beneficial because it can help students that have learning disabilities. They might be able to see videos, be more into the class because of like interactive stuff that phones have access to, unlike in like lecture type of classes. So in that aspect, those students would be more into the stuff, school, you know.
At that point, I would have to agree with you. That is a very good point because it does it does allow students that aren't usually interactive and involved in the classroom. It gives them that outlet to feel like every other student and not to feel out of place. I don't really have an argument against it. I feel like it's a good point.
Okay, cool.
Well, another argument can be just the different speeds of each phone. So if one student doesn't have one of those new higher functioning phones, they'll be slowed down because, and then also you're working on CPS Wi-Fi, like that can't be fast by itself.
That's true.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Melina, that's a very good point, but I think that just as we started using, tablets, and now we have a set of them that the school shares, the same could happen with the phones. If that's the idea, then we could purchase a set of phones that the whole school could share, and it would be the same functionality as it is with laptops.
I feel like it wouldn't be that same functionality just because a phone is very difficult to work with for younger children. They might drop them a lot more. They may lose them, which is a very, big issue for adults. So I can only imagine it being a bigger issue for children. Although some children are very responsible with their technology and with their property, you never know. And since they're not paying for it, it's not there. You don't know what they might do. We also have to remember that might bring in parents, problems with giving their kids cell phones in the first place.
Right.
Some parents have no issue giving children phones. However, other parents feel, I don't want my kid to have a phone until they're in 6th grade, 7th grade, or even high school.
Good point, Aaron.
I agree with Corey.
I understand how. Sorry, go ahead.
I was saying
as a parent, I have 2 children, and believe me, I don't like technology. I'm not in favor of it, definitely not in school, but as the instructor, as a teacher educator, I think, as we said, a lot of the children are already distracted by their phones, so we might as well try to accommodate this and try to redirect them in what they're already doing.
That's a good point.
Excellent. Go you. So we're done?
Is everyone able to do that? I am so scared. I don't think I'm doing this correctly.
Worst come to worst, one of us could send it to you. Maybe I probably shouldn't have said that. Alright, well, are we finished? So the frogs won, right?
We have to go exactly to this one. Or can we just go?
Alright, well, have a great night, people. Right, we're done?
Yeah, I think we're done.
Alright, bye-bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.